For the last few seasons, we have shown Brentford mad respect because they've earned it. The last team to defeat Manchester City at home. Pep had to put Rodri in to calm things down. Pep made halftime subs because Brentford, they were the better side in the first half. Should have heard Pep doting over Thomas Frank, saying it's only a matter of time until a bigger club comes calling. Has a great mind for football. He can communicate his style of football to his players. He gets the best out of them. And he has a wonderful head of hair. And that never hurts. Bringing me to this question. Remember, the parameters of the opening question is, I'll ask the question, you all answer. There's no deep diving. There's no retorting. We're just able to have a safe space to just say how we feel, what we think, and let it fly. When Frank leaves, where's he going? What club does he go to?
I'll go first. He should be going to Manchester United.
Ooh.
I think he goes back to France. I think he could go back to Marseille and make that more than just a one-team league.
I like this.
Man, I have no idea. I haven't really given it much thought, to be honest with you.
I know that's questions on y'all.
So I think he could definitely do a job at United. Well, you would think that he could do a job at United. The only reason he wouldn't succeed is if their issues are very much systemic and deep-rooted and bigger than just any one individual manager. But so I could see him doing that. I mean, really, outside of us, maybe Arsenal with Arteta, anybody else is pretty much open. I mean, Aston Villa's been doing well with Unai Emery, so maybe you don't go there. But has Eddie Howe shown anything at Newcastle? No. So I mean, you said not to expand on this. I'm gonna just say he can have any job that he wants outside of us and Arsenal. If we're talking Premier League,
I'm talking anywhere, but hey, I like that.
Yeah, I haven't paid attention enough to
it. I was just listening to Pep saying all the things that he was saying about the guy. I was thinking about how, and I'll talk about it more. So actually, let's get into the show.
But Pep says a lot of stuff about a lot of people.
Oh no, I have the clip. That's what I'm saying. We'll dig into it more.
I mean, but we think about Amarim. We think about it. We could go down the list of people we've played where
no deep diving.
Big up. I'm just saying, I don't know that Thomas Frank is his, whatever. Anyway, go ahead. Do what you do.
I hate the most is when you don't want the ball. I hate it. You have permission to make a mistake. You have permission to lose. You have permission.
And that's when we get big.
Yeah, I'm a genius.
Attack everyone and send everyone.
I think we're forgetting the most important thing. We're forgetting about focusing just on ourselves.
But we can do better. We need to take the next step, and there's no better place than taking the next step here.
Show ourselves out there how much we want to win it again.
We win 4 of the last 5 Premier League, guys. 4 of the last 5 Premier League. Are we going to do it again?
Don't ask me again about doubles, triples, quadruples, fifth-tuples, six-tuples, and seven-tuples. So,
hey, welcome to episode 108 of Shades of Blue.
World's famous.
We are the most comprehensive show about Manchester City, covering both the men's and women's game, spanning both sides of the Mason-Dixon line. We making art over here, capitalize the A. I am Crunk Chocolate. Now I'm here with the show bros, Tom Bomb, Ted Rick, and Sharpie Charlie. How are we? How we going? How we doing? Oh, goodness.
Happy Sunday, everybody. Last Sunday of the summer. It's a beautiful day.
You said it like it was a good thing, man.
When you're a fall lover, a fall baby, you look forward to fall. Like, I'm over humidity. Give me my high of 72. That's what I want.
That's
fair enough.
I was gonna say I'm a fall person. You see the half of my sweater or my closet, it's cardigans, it's jackets, it's sweaters, it's hoodies. Like, this is my season. I come into myself.
Y'all are the I can't wait till fall gets here so I can be dressing brothers. Okay. All right. Got it.
I am the black male equivalent of that meme of the white women with the hats and the leather boots.
Christian autumn fall. Christian autumn fall. Is that it? Okay. All right.
Give me my PSL. Let's cook, baby. Let's cook.
Oh, man. Before we get into anything else, what I need for you to do right now is, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, like this video, leave a comment. The comments, they're starting to add up. I see more of you commenting. I appreciate that. Y'all are real ones for that. Audio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, all of those services that allow you to rate and review, please do that. Give us a 5 stars, 10 out of 10, whatever the max is on that podcasting app, max that bitch out. Oops, sorry, I've been trying not to curse in the first 20 minutes. That's like a thing on YouTube now. I'm already out of here. Oopsie daisy. In today's episode, we prepare for the business end of the season that starts at the beginning of the season. So many games. We'll review City's comeback victory against Brentford, take a look at the Premier League with shock, awe, and applause. And we're going to finish the episode looking ahead to games against Inter. And both City men and women, they play against Arsenal. Men at
Arsenal hate week. This is Arsenal hate week for Manchester City Football Club. Period. Point blank. Arsenal hate week.
Byron, Paulina, like network friends, we love you, but also get the fuck out of here. So sorry, it's just this week, But as soon as the match is over, come here, you motherfuckers, give us a hug, bring it in. But yeah, the women, they play at the Emirates, so this is a one hell of a way to start the season. But before we get into the football, quickly, let's check in with each other. What have you been up to during the international break?
International break sucks. So can we say that? International break sucks. But if you're going to have an international break, it makes it better when your Miami Hurricanes end up 3-0. Just got through hanging 62 points on Ball State. So if I got to find something to fill my days with, because there's no footy, watching my Canes and potential Heisman Trophy winner Cam Ward do their thing, it's not a bad second.
That's how I feel, man. It's about football. Last week was the beginning of the NFL season. So, it's like I miss it, obviously, in the morning, right? Like between the hours of 8 and noon, there's nothing on that's what I miss it. But once noon hit on Saturday, I was good. Once 1 p.m. hit on Sunday, Red Zone had me locked down. So, America, we got our things to help us make it through. What about you, Tom?
Well, speaking as someone who just came inside from smoking on that Joe Burrow, I gotta, be up on that football train as well. Also, of course, always shout outs to the good folks over to Shea Butter FC for allowing me to be in the press box and cover matches, KC Current matches. They had a desperately needed result on Friday in their draw with Orlando Pride, but that pretty much mathematically puts them out of the Shield race. But that's probably for the best because they need to focus on somebody outside of Tim Winchawinga scoring goals, since nobody in the league has done that since June.
And I'm not gonna lie, Tom, I have definitely bragged about you and being in that KC boxy to anybody who brings up anything Woso. I'm just like, yeah, well, somebody on my podcast, you know, he does
Big J journalist. Tom Bomb. I won't say the government. We're gonna put that out there. Tom Bomb, Big J journalist.
Also, I do have to say, if I can, there are some things in the workings of SOB Network. Please stay tuned for the 12. It's going to be some hotness for you about the WSL, but please stay tuned.
The episode should actually already be out by the time you guys are listening to this, so look forward to it. Hey, okay, cool. I love this. Oh, I want to shout out to. I went and checked out. I found out there is a co-ed soccer league, and their playoffs were today. So I went for a few hours. I chatted with some people, made some content, introduced myself, let them know what I'm up to with Shades of Blue and some local things that hopefully continue to go well. Hopefully more news about that later. Yeah, it was just really cool. There was some golazos. Some people scored some like crazy goals. It was great, but also it was big trash at the same time because I love that though. It's Sunday's co-ed league. It was super fun, but really dope people. Like I talked to, I think 5 people. All of them have been in the league for at least a decade, and there was like friends and family. I had no idea the league had been around for that long. So that long. There's like people who started and now their nieces and nephews are hard now joining their teams and stuff like that. It was a really cool vibe, and I definitely gotta get in there and see what I can do. I'm gonna be terrible, but hey, someone will take me in. There is like just like a substitute list that you can add yourself in, and people can take you on. So maybe I'll just do that. Maybe I'll just be a little mercenary. But let's get into sorry, Sharpie, were you about to say something? Okay. Chairman Khaldun told us years ago that the whole 115 was a farce, aimed to drag City's name in the mud solely what should be a wonderful story of an investment gone perfectly. How if you do the right things, hire the right people, trust the process, you can defy the odds, take out the top 4. City did not instantly get Pep Guardiola and all of this success. Mark Hughes was the manager during the Mansour takeover. 36 wins, 12 draws, 26 losses. The only way was up for the club. The Roberto Mancini era taught us class, to care about our presentation, to want to take ourselves seriously. That beautiful football can happen at Manchester City. He brought the club 1 Premier League title, an FA Cup, and a Community Shield in his 4 seasons with the club. Then there was the Manuel Pellegrini era, which I feel he doesn't get enough respect. He kind of gets shat on a lot. I know he ended with it. Yes. But in 3 seasons, he won a Premier League and 2 League Cups with teams that really weren't his. The squad had City legends already on it, our well-paid players who just had to get their playing time. There really wasn't much that he could do. That was also a run of some pretty not great transfers. Yes, there was Fernandinho, KDB, and Sterling. Cool. How about these names? Patrick Roberts.
Don't bring up Eloquim Mangala, please don't.
He was on the list, but you said
I don't think you can throw those names in there though.
Kovacic, Negredo, hell, what? I know it sounds tough, but
no. My issue with saying Patrick Roberts and Enes Ünal, those 2 specifically, is their young kids. They came in as more academy type prospects, just like we bring in a Kakai or Kaki or however you want, KK, whatever, dude from Brazil, those types of players. You know, we don't really expect that every one of them cats is going to hit. So those two, I just want to take a little bit of a, you know, a little asterisk and say that we never probably had full expectations for them. Now, to his point, Mangala, on the other hand, we had one really bomb game though. He pocketed
it was his
Diego
first
Costa.
game.
Exactly.
His first game. That was it. And so then there was, before Pellegrini was brought in, they brought in Javi Garcia, Mataja Nastasic, and Jack Rodwell. That was 50 million euros in 2012. That was meant to be, those were our 3-star strikers. I'm just trying to say there were way more names on there. I just wanted to say the names that I think people would recognize, because Patrick Roberts eventually went off to have a decent career. Honestly, so has Inez and all. Like, they've gone on. There's a whole decent starting 11 of players that City has let go and have went on to have a pretty decent career, if we're being honest. But I'm just saying that Pellegrini taught the board of directors that you can't rest on your laurels. Quality players is not enough. Quality starting players is not enough. Relying on guile and scrappiness, it can't just bring consistent success. The Guardiola era didn't experience immediate success either. And the media reveled in the failure of Pep. And City kind of looked silly, aiming so high, bringing in Pep Guardiola, a Spanish manager for English football. Can they play that tiki-taka here in England? What a wonderful 8 years it's been. So, like, yes, where am I going with this? Sorry. The 115 hearing has begun by the time the listeners are getting to this episode. We should probably, I guess, have this discussion one last time, because it seems like everything's going to move quickly. But what I want to talk about isn't necessarily the whole broad thing of what is your thoughts on it, because Pep has us here.
Erling is not a lawyer, no. So we didn't talk about that. What's going to happen? Independent panel, and we're going to accept the sentence.
But what about everybody around the club, not just the players?
I don't talk about them. I don't talk about them about that. We'll see. So I'm happy that it starts on Monday, and I know you will be more rumors and new specialists about the sentences that come up. We're going to see. So I know what the people are looking for. I know what they're expecting. I know it. What I read for many, many years, but I'm set. So
more articles and especiallys. I love a little Spanglish. People want City to be guilty so badly. Javier Tebas, once again, talking about a club outside of his league for no reason, admitting to talking to other Premier League club owners about the hearing, all agreeing that Man City should be guilty. What? How do you admit something like that? And that's supposed to be like not a very like evil thing. Like, why are all you guys just like hanging out and chatting about Man City? Like, what? Admitting to, I don't know. If the case is thrown out, if nothing comes against City, they aren't found guilty. I know City are going to reportedly come back at all of the media who have been making 115 basically their personality for the last 4 or 5 seasons. The problem with that is Man City will always be seen as dirty little cheats. I say fuck those losers, embrace being the evil sky blue empire, but that doesn't work for everybody. Show bros, what is your word of advice to Man City fans on how to handle the noise from outside of the Man City community?
Manchester City fans, once we are found acquitted of all 115 charges, I think you all should just go out to your local tattoo artist in the Premier League font, right here on your left shoulder, get a tattoo that says 115, and I swear that's just gonna hit like the purest white Colombian that you have ever experienced in your life. So the next time that somebody just says, yeah, well, 115, take your shirt off, turn around, walk away.
And for all of those people who maybe are afraid of the purest white Colombian, it's going to hit like the best book of your life. You are going to be locked in. There we go.
You went from the purest white Colombian to a book?
Praise Jesus.
Yeah. He said it's Sunday, praise Jesus.
Hallelujah. Yeah, you keep those heathens away.
I mean, there's a lot of things you could have went to. You went to a book, but okay.
Yeah,
I mean, hey,
some people love reading. Some people love reading.
No disrespect. I'm just asking the question. I just make sure I heard you correctly.
It sounds like disrespect. Oh no. Okay, well, okay. So Derek, what would you say to fellow City supporters?
I think the good thing about City supporters are the ones that I at least interact with, whether it be on our stream, whether it be on other streams that I'm on, or even just in Twitter in general, is that I think most City fans that I interact with really aren't bothered because we know what we saw, we know what we've done, and we just wait and see how it all plays out. I think if there were to be, God forbid, we were to be found guilty on the biggest charges, people would be disappointed, would be upset. But we're trusting the club and we're trusting Caldoun and others that, you know, they didn't do anything wrong. And so I just let the process play out, ignore the haters, let the process play out, and, you know, we'll deal with whatever happens when it happens. At the end of the day, it won't change our opinion of the club. It won't change the joy that we've gotten from the club. And the reality is, speaking just solely for myself, I'm gonna be wearing this sky blue for a very long time. It's pretty much City till I die, right? So it don't matter what happens, man. It really don't matter.
Love that. Love that.
I mean, here's the thing, right? Enjoy the football. That's why we're here. We're not here to talk about, you know, the court cases and what lawyers and what firms. I don't care. You shouldn't either. Like it I will say this for all our American fans, this case will be over faster than Young Thug's YSL case. So if you understand how long that's been going on, we don't have to wait that long. 2.5 months, it's nothing, you know. Shouts to slimes everywhere. But you know, I believe that, you know, anything that doesn't get us relegated is a win, right? Like that's all we care about. If it's a points deduction, cool, whatever, we'll take that. We'll still come back up. If it's a big fine, we got the bag. So yeah, as long as we don't get relegated, the ball is in our court to be successful. So just keep enjoying these wins. We got too many competitions, too many trophies to fight for. You know, that let those losers care about a case because their teams are mediocre at best. That's why they care about it.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that really got stuff to worry about, they over here caring about the footy, and that's what we are.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Well, then let's get to the footy. For Manchester City versus Brentford, the starting 11 was Ederson, Walker, Stones, Kanji, Lewis, Kovacic, Gundo, KDB, Savio, Grealish, and Haaland up top. Shout out to him for pushing through and playing. Wondered who Pep would play with Inter on the horizon. Figured Walker would get rest. Nah, I was shocked to see Lewis on the left. The roles and responsibilities of the left back are not the same as the right. Flipping Rico, yes, you could have him do his similar position, but that still means you're kind of flipping everything else that we would do, and it just makes everything weird for everybody. It's not bad, but it would just take time to make the adjustments with real like match speed. Sharpie was asking the tough questions of Brentford during our kickoff show before the match on Saturday. What type of milk are they? That's how you could tell how bothered we were before the kickoff. Tarek, You were missed Saturday, so let us start with your thoughts on the lineup.
So, to me, Rico Lewis has played himself into a guaranteed lock starter. And I know that he started this match, but moving him over to the left, I wasn't necessarily a fan of. And so, of course, moving him to the left to bring in Kyle. And then we saw John Stones. It's really the back four. I wasn't sold on it. I understand why we had to do it, just because we do have a lot of matches that we're going to play and people need to get game time and some minutes under their belt. So I understand the why, even if I wasn't necessarily overjoyed with what he was going to do there. I was surprised not to see Rodri start. I feel like, he's been back for a little bit now. He's ready to go. So to not see him start made me question what was going on. But other than that, man, it's pretty much straightforward, I think. Yeah, I'd say it's pretty much straightforward after that.
Okay, so Kanji and Stones. It's not a bad combination. Yes, no, Rodri isn't bad, but Gundo is Gundo, so we're like, okay, cool. And then Kovacic has earned my respect. So I didn't really think much. I know. I said it. I said it last week that I'm going to back off Kovacic, and so I do it. I'm trying to be true to my word. I'm not trying to say things for theatrics. I'm trying to remember the words I say and hold myself to them. Sometimes I just be saying shit for this. The camera comes on, and I'm just like, well, it'll be funny. Let's make fun of Luton Town. And so now we're here. I want to. So yeah, I don't know. I thought I was good. Sharpie, did you see the defensive line and did that bring you any hesitancy like Derek?
No, I have no hesitancy with any 11 we put out there. I like them all. I think they're all great at football. I believe it was Kevin De Bruyne who talked about on like a clip about for FC25. He was like, oh yeah, like, players went up to silver or gold, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, no, like, there are no silver players there on this team. Like, if you are in this club, you are a gold player. And like all of our players have my trust and belief. And we got to rotate. We know this. People that aren't used to it, I won't say club names, they aren't used to it. They get a little worked up about, oh my God, the starting 11 shift. It's like, yes, guys, because we play in 3 days or 4 days. That's what happens when you go to big boy football. So, we do what we have to do.
That's fine. Okay. Game begins perfectly for Brentford. The traditional kickback to the keeper, who then hoofs it as far as possible, trying to catch the opponent off guard. Watching in real time the goal by Wisa, 22 seconds into the match, it felt ominous. Like Brentford had came to win against, a side who maybe was looking past them. Watching the replay, I could tell this was like a set piece. It was practiced all week by Brentford. Joe Bray on Twitter showed a video of Brentford practicing set pieces. In the kickoff show, I was worried about Brentford being the attacker coming at clubs all season, then playing against City and moving to a more defensive shape that could be bad for their mentality. That's where I messed up. They were set to maximize their chances on the ball. From Flecken's kick upfield, the players were swift towards the ball, quick one-touch passes. The initial cross that was headed at the goal, yes, it was soft, but then Stones swift, Ederson dived, and Wisa was there to head the ball into the open net. He knew to be far post, to be waiting for that. Every player knew their responsibility for the kickoff, and bravo to Brentford. City allowing the first goal, unfortunately, it's something we've become accustomed to. The goal allowed in 22 seconds, however, was the fastest goal scored on the reigning champions and the fastest goal Manchester City has allowed at home in the history of the club. Brentford lost the war, but they left with a new record. How are we feeling after the immediate goal, if you can look at hindsight? Remember hindsight. Tom?
I have to shout out Kansas Citizens, Casey's Man City supporter group. Their normal bar, I guess, has been taken over by a different management team, and they were not open at 9:00 local time, which was when kickoff was. So shout out to the founder Jamie for kind of scrambling. He knew where the Man United bar was like, okay, they're going to be open because I know those boys were just up there. So we're going to go to a different bar. So like literally in the car, like get the little Fat Mob alert. It was like, Brentford scores 1-0. It's like, wait, whoa. I have not even seen the ball be kicked. Like, what is happening? Like, this cannot be possible. Like, it's clearly this is some sort of error on Fat Mob's part. And then, like, have Peacock up on my phone. I'm looking at that. It was like, unbelievable. Are you serious? So it was just kind of like when you feel like something bad is already happening and then another bad thing is like, please don't let this day snowball because it is too early in the day and I can't afford to my mental. Yeah, but this is going to ruin my entire weekend.
I actually was, I mean, of course you don't like to give up a goal, right? But I didn't get too bent out of shape because I just felt like if we're going to giving up one after 22 seconds, there's way too much time. Brentford can't hold that for this long. And that was before, at that point, that was before we saw them dominate the first 10 to 15 minutes of the match, right? So at that point, 22 seconds in, you're just like, okay, it's a fluke. But I didn't expect us to keep a clean sheet anyway, so we'll go there. That's their one. Now we'll go on to dominate the game. So what's not quite as easy looking back on it from this position and this perspective, but in the moment, I was just like, it sucks, but okay, we'll get it back. What about you, Charlie?
I laughed so hard because it's just like, wow, we keep finding new ways to do this, and this is why I would never bet that we're going to get a clean sheet. I'll always be pleasantly surprised, but never expect it. And goals are fun. So I knew that, hey, as a bettor who had over 2.5, as I mentioned on the kickoff game, I had 2.5 goals. I said 2-1 is great. I said, well, we're going to score 2 goals today, guys, and I'm going to win my bet. And that's how I felt.
I'm happy for you. I am so happy for you. Get money. And so Lisa had another chance a couple minutes later, but shout out to the short king, Rico Lewis. And Buomo would have beaten Stones to the ball if not for Ederson, who had a great match, honestly. Early in the match, I saw our midfield just didn't have the legs for a team like Brentford. That was not the midfield who will rumble to win aerial deals or the second or third balls. There were a lot of times where Brentford went up, just headed the ball down to their player, and everyone just kind of set themselves to be prepared for the counter. Sharpie?
You said aerial, and it just hit me like, and of course we'll get into the changes in the second half, but I never have appreciated that part of Rodgers' game. Like, obviously he's a giant, right? But there are just certain things we never see when he's on the pitch because you'll be stupid enough to like put it up for the guy that's 6'3". Like, he's going to win it 90% of the time, right? His aerial duel percentage is amazing. And so, yeah, when you have a midfield where everyone is under 5'10", you are going to be left, and all those different milks, they were out there. The milk was great, was strong. The milk delivery truck was full.
Yeah, man, that milk was doing some work for sure.
Because I know how tall you are, I kind of feel like you were throwing shade at people that were 5'10" and under there, like myself.
Not a shade. No, that is a factual statement. No shade.
Someone
no
like
shade.
myself who is 5'9 3/4, who gets rounded up to 5'10".
As you should.
Absolutely. I
round up to 6 foot. I'm 5'11 3/4. We in the same boat.
I feel like you're taller.
All my short shade is reserved for people that's like under 5'7", like legit short kings.
All right,
like the Gomez's, the Ricos, the Dakus. Those are like short kings. Everybody else, we just men out here trying to do the best we can.
Fair enough.
Not you skipping over the most important short king of all, Bernardo Silva.
The peach. Yes, he is the one. The epitome of the Napoleon complex, my guy. I called a kid that in class. I told the whole class about it. It was funny. I was like, this one kid was like, why are you so upset, bro? Little man, little boy. And then we Googled Napoleon Complex when he walked out. It was great.
Oh, no.
You got teachable moments.
Yeah, exactly. Teachable moments. You got to keep those kids honest. But yeah, City's high press. Yes. So it'd bring the forward line up really high. And that just leads the midfielders to anticipate and shut down that hurry pass. If you're late to the opposition, they now have space and the number advantage to counter. And that's just what happened over and over again. Gundo and Kova never really decided who was going to be that hustle guy. And really, that's not even the bag. So that's the problem. Kyle Walker seemed to trust his speed a little too much. He was almost baiting the attacker. And Lewis Potter beat him and got a cross off. If it wasn't for Mbumo mistiming that bicycle kick, that's a Puska winner, honestly. Thomas Frank said post-match about the first half, if Manchester City are the best team in the world, Brentford were world class in that first half. Agreed. What did you see from Brentford that was bringing them that success, or what wasn't Manchester City doing that just opened them up to fall apart like that?
It felt like to me there was such a large disconnect between each line. Like, even like if we did, if you mark it off as a 3-2-4-1, like there was not that connection between each line to like advance play, especially in the first half. And I just felt like Brentford led possession in the first half, like by a lot, which was kind of like honestly shocking. So just like not being able to connect in between the lines, I think that was City's biggest issue, and particularly in the first half.
I think for me, the one side looked like they had a bunch of people that went to international duty, and the other side looked like they were basically fully ready for this match, right? And you could see that in the opening energy, that first 10 to 12 minutes, like they jumped on us, as you should, because your goal is to get the goal early and then be able to counter fully, the rest of the way. So they executed the plan, and Pep's praise of Frank was, like we talked about in the opening, is real. Like, he knew what he was doing. He knew how to get his team, how to manufacture that goal. That's great management. But as we'll talk about, like, there's a reason why when you come to the Etihad, we have not lost in seasons at the Etihad. And I think like what what happened next is why we are the defending champs.
I think I was going to say something similar to what Charlie said. They jumped on us from the beginning. They did to us what we do to almost every other team. We come out, we press you very hard in the beginning. We give up a goal, and then you got to play catch up. That then opens up more spaces for us, and we go on to score more and win the game. It was very discombobulating to see. I think in that first 15 minutes or so, it was like 27-73 on possession their way. Never a thing for us. And so to see that, it was being on the opposite side of what we do. And it's like, this is scary. And again, yes, I agree that, maybe it was something to do with international break. Some of our, Kyle didn't go to international break. Stones did. He played. He didn't have a lot of minutes prior to international break. So again, trying to get up to the speed of the game and the speed of the match took a little bit, but and we just couldn't. We were uncharacteristically poor with the ball. There were a couple times, and again, I hate to keep saying this because it feels like I'm picking on him, and I'm really not trying to. But there were a couple times where Kyle's touch was just really poor, and the ball bounces off of him, and and then they get the ball and they're going the other way. It's just like, I expect more there. And again, you haven't played a lot of minutes. In the speed of a match day is different than even the most intense practices. So, maybe it was just a step slow because they haven't really played a lot. Ultimately, though, it was there were moments in that first, like I said, first 15 minutes or so where we easily could have been down 2, if not 3. And that the fact that we weren't was a little bit of luck. And so you just got to hope that, okay, now we can do something different.
19th minute equalizer by Haaland. Haaland runs up to the ball with his back to the goal, never looking at the goal before he even took the shot. So this goal came from Gundo and Kova fully participating in the press, forcing the ball back to Flecken, who kept kicking the ball over to Lewis Potter, who had great success earlier in the match. But I'm pretty sure it was like 4, maybe even 5 times in a good 7-minute span. It just City were able to time everything in that chance. So then Kovacic, he pings the ball over to left to Grealish. I just want to give Grealish a shout out to that. The way that he accepted that ball, because it came across his body and he had to bring it down with his right, and it was just so smooth. He didn't lose momentum. Grealish, if this is the Grealish, like, I know it's very early in the season, anything is possible, but this is the Grealish we fucking need, baby. But the ball keeps moving. Walker with a key pass. Yes, his touch was shit at the beginning, but in that moment, he was able to take a pretty hot pass and do the little quick square pass over to KDB. KDB got the ball to Haaland. I don't know if it was purposeful, if it was poked away. I don't know. Don't care. We got the goal. The Nordic meat shield. It's inevitable. How are we feeling once there's the equalizer?
Like I said, I felt going. Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Tom.
My bad. I was just like, at that point, I just felt like, okay, like, match is on, like, we're back on level terms, and anytime at home that City is playing at home and the match is level, you think that we're gonna get all 3 points, advance, whatever the match competition calls for. So at that point, I was like, okay, I'm gonna, like, just sigh a breath of relief, and I think, like, everyone in the bar did the same thing.
Yeah, I was gonna just say, like I said in the beginning, once they scored, I knew we would. It was, to me, it's inevitable. It's just a matter of when. And so once we started to change the kind of the flow of the match, because they had been pouncing on us, and then we started to kind of get a grip of the match and get more possession and keeping the ball a bit better. Then it just became inevitable, and we were able to get that goal. Give props to Haaland taking that with his right foot. So a little bit of a slight deflection, but not enough to try to give credit anywhere other than to Haaland. So I felt we were inevitable, and in the vein of form that he's in, Haaland is inevitable. And so it showed itself that day.
So a couple things. Because it was on Peacock and I'm watching on my TV outside that, like, for some reason it's slower than like a Roku or whatever. I got the notification first. I was like, oh, I can't wait to see how this happened. Then as I watched the play develop, and Tom loves to talk about a key pass, who got to the box at the edge and made the pass? It was Captain Cal Walker. And so that was really great to see, because that's the drive you need. That's what Rico would do, right? Like, you would get to that position, you make an incisive pass, and then we go from there. Took a nice deflection, and then, took a deflection for Haaland shot. Like, hey, but when you're in the box, you made that happen. You get the benefit of the doubt. And the fact that it happened so quickly, right? Like, we were used to so many matches in the past few years where that equalizer might, like the Everton match last year, that equalizer might not come to like the 70th minute. And now we only got 20 minutes to try to go win it. The fact that it came in the 18th minute, it's like, oh, okay, we're going to win this game. I don't know how many we're going to score, but we're definitely going to get at least another one in the next 70 minutes, right? So that put me at ease, and I was excited to see what happened next.
I know people say for the first half, Brentford ran things. For the first 20, 25 minutes, Brentford ran things. I don't know how to describe it, but there's just like a feeling of momentum I sense when I watch the matches. And I specifically wrote down at 10:36, Manchester City are not reeling anymore. They have the momentum. So that was when I felt things were okay. They were calm. And even in the kickoff show, I was like, by the 25th, 30th minute, I will know how I need to feel about this match. Do I need to move on? Or do I need to kind of freak out with what's going on? And speaking of City, they took the lead. Ederson assisted Haaland. Ederson and Erling, they had been working on that long pass the entire match. So in the 10th minute, Eddie smashed a low ball up to Haaland, and he gently laid it off to a teammate. In the 30th minute, just 1 minute prior to the goal, he tried to, you saw Ederson do like a run to Haaland, and he didn't do it. So the ball goes low, it's intercepted, whatever. The ball gets back to Ederson. This time he launches it high, long, and while the ball is in flight, Ederson or Haaland looks up at the ball, estimates where the ball's going to land. He places himself in front of Pinnock, blocks him off, all while not even taking a look at Pinnock. He's just staring at the ground where the ball's going to land. The ball lands, and he hits that low, fast chip that just keepers freeze. They have no idea how to stop it. He is a cheat code. All you can do as a defender, as a Brentford fan in that moment, is pray for offsides. It didn't happen. City 2, Brentford 1. What are our thoughts? How we feeling? Are we fucking lit?
I felt like that was the most, that goal, Haaland did the most work to set up the goal, like by boxing out Pinnock to know where the ball was going to bounce, and then know to take his first touch, and then like explode from that point to run away from Pinnock. So then it truly was just him and Flecken on a one-on-one, and he had left Pinnock in the dust. I felt like we were at that point, like that was probably the most impressive goal of the season. That I was like, at this point, I was like, he's really going to try and score 3 hat tricks in a row. Like, has anybody ever done that? Like, has that ever happened? Sure. So yeah, it was just, we're definitely winning this match at this point.
I appreciate Erling Haaland's like intellect so much, because to read the flight of the ball, right? Ederson, great pass, perfect pass. You can't put it any better. But then to read the flight of the ball, set up the defender who thinks you're just going to chase it. And it's like, no, I'm backing you out. I watch basketball. I'm going to box you out. No, I can get the touch off. And his touch is so good, right? He only needs 2 touches, 1 to control it, 1 more dribble. And now, like, all the things that he was missing one-on-one last year, that ain't happening this year. It's a whole new season. And, like, I knew he was going to score. Because if you go low keeper, I'm going high. If you go high, I'm sliding it past you. You can't stop me. You just hope. You hoping. You don't really think it's going to happen. So, yeah, this man is one of one. Like, he is not the dribbler of a Messi or Ronaldo. When you talk about end product and goal scoring, he is the best the Premier League has ever seen. What he's done, like the fact he passed Eric Cantona in 86 fewer matches, and Eric Cantona is a legend of the Premier League, a legend of Manchester United. He dusted him in like almost in 2.5 seasons left. That's crazy, bro. Like, we're gonna hit. He's on 99 for the club. He's about to, if he scores against Inter, he will be the fastest player ever to hit 100 goals in the club, overtaking Ronaldo, which is Cristiano Ronaldo, which is incredible. So, Tarek, I'm sorry I talked too much. I'll let you go.
No, you good, man. Because at the end of the day, I mean, again, it's masterful use of his body to create space. You talked about basketball, whether it be a box out, or you think about a guard who is getting out on a break, who's got that defender on his hip, who doesn't just run straight and let the defender catch up, but steps kind of across that defender, make him and keeps him on that hip. And so he got beyond the defender, and then he kept him there. He didn't have to, physically grab him, hold him, whatever, but he just put him on his hip and he couldn't get around him. And then it was just one-on-one with the keeper. It was definitely masterful use of just the positioning, the body shape, everything. To your point, he's one of one. He's amazing. There are not enough superlatives to say not only is he great, but he's in a great run of form. And those two things, it's a masterful combination. So kudos to him. Eddie getting the assist is big. I remember when he got the assist for Aguero a couple years ago. So again, we always have that in our locker. We can always go long if you're going to step up and press us short, and we're not maybe able to play out from the back like we normally would. What kind of a out ball do you have when you can kick the ball out to Haaland? That's amazing, man. So unless you're physically, if you're doing a Rudiger where you're grabbing him, pulling him down, tackling him, that kind of stuff, and the refs are letting you get away with it, then whatever. But if they're not, it's probably next to impossible to guard that man one-on-one. So, it was dope, man. Dope to see. Go ahead, Charlie. You was going to say something else.
I'm just really happy that he took away another record from a United player. Like Rooney had 8 and 4. He was like, no, I'm going to tie you and pass you in 13 minutes. So it's always nice when we even I'm wearing the away shirt from like last year or year before last. It's nice when we can, get United out of a book.
Yes. Halftime whistle, and I wanted changes. I expected early subs, but halftime subs? Whoa. Vardy for Lewis, Rodri for Kovacic. Our first Rodri sighting for the season. To close out the match, all is well. We were just calm, just rushed over me. I have a clip of Pep before the match. Originally, Pep was asked if Grealish could play the 10, and he said yes. The follow-up question was about Rico Lewis playing on the left.
Well, if you need Rico to go up and down for the... Yeah, we know it. Yeah.
On the left, do you think that?
Well, if you need Rico to go up and down for the left and crosses for the left, it's not good. But you have to play more central position, the short passes, attack more position, central positions is really good.
So he knew he wouldn't be good on the left, and he put him there anyway. I'm just like,
he put him on the left, but he wasn't, to his point in that comment. Yeah, he wasn't bombing up and down the left, right? He was stepping more into that inverted in the midfield role. And I think that was what I noticed more so after the switches. In the first half, Grealish was touchline on the left, right? He's out there on the touchline, chalk on his boots kind of thing, right? And then inside of him, you had Lewis and everybody else. Once Vardy came on, Vardy was the one keeping the width, which moved Grealish inside. So again, if we're saying he plays better more centrally, this was an opportunity for him to get off the touchline and be able to create a little bit more from central places, like we had seen Rico trying to do. So I think that was the biggest thing that stood out to me after the fact. So I don't think it was long story short, I don't think it was a contradictory statement there. I just think it was, he can do one thing on the left side, but he can't do the other, or he won't ask him to do the other.
Well, yeah, I don't think sorry, Tom Baum. I don't think it's a contradictory, but he took him off at half. That is, it wasn't working. So it's just like, I know.
I think it was harsh on Rico, to be honest. My opinion.
Oh, no,
again, I felt like it was harsh on Rico, and what he should have done, what I would have done, was to take Kyle off and put Rico back on the right where he's excelled all season. But I also know maybe we're trying to say that Rico's going to play more in the midweek, so I need to save him. Or I know maybe it's a matter of, I know Kyle's going to play in the midweek and I need to get him these minutes. Either way, I've got to keep Kyle on the pitch. So somebody has to be sacrificed. And in this case, it was Rico, but I did think that was unfair on him.
Yeah.
I think that this, I think this whole point would be moot had Ake not gotten injured for Swamp Germany in the international break. Like, because Ake would have played at that left back spot, and maybe Rico starts at right back and Kyle comes in for the last 45, but Rico was only going to play 45 because he was only going because he is going to start in the midweek match versus Inter. Like, this was more of maybe I need to get Yasko some rest based off of like how far he traveled for international break, how much he played. So like, I think that Ake injury really, really hurt Pep's rotation, because essentially you only have two people that can play on the left at that left spot now, unless you want to put a Kanji on the left, which I think we've seen that before and we don't really love that. So like, you just have Rico and Vardial to do that. So I think that was more a function of him getting taken off, was more of a function of saying like, he's going to play next week and we really miss Nathan Ake.
See, I read it as like a need, honestly, just for more size on the pitch. Like, if you know that Brentford's probably going to be crossing the ball in, or you obviously want someone that's a more physical, let's be real, just a better defender, right? Like, Vardial is a better defender. Rico Lewis is naturally left-footed. Everything works out. I think you say, hey, we're up 2-1 now. I want to make sure that we don't concede another quick goal to start the second half. We don't let them catch us, on a set piece where Rico is getting jumped over. So, and again, we don't know who Pep's going to start against Inter, right? Only people we know are going to start are Erling Haaland, Ederson, Kevin De Bruyne. Anything else? Rodri. I'll give you those four. Everything else is on the table, right? Everything's interchangeable. So I feel like the rotation is nice to see from Pep, because this is our big week to start the year, with all three of these matches being so important for different reasons. So I think it's not any shade to Rico. It's just like, hey, we got to switch it up, and we'll definitely see Rico the rest of this week. 100%.
1,000%. And Tom Baum triggered a sound clip. This is Pep on Nathan Ake, who's very spicy.
How much of a blow is that to lose Nathan for that period?
We are unlucky with Nathan with the national team. Every time goes there, he's come back injured.
Never coach. Never. Can I ask you about Brentford? How much?
Yeah. Yup. I heard it, and that wasn't even on the embargo. That was like, Pep just let that off for free. I was like, oh, okay. Uh-oh. It's not good. That's a similar level of shot that he was given at Grealish last season. So it's going to be interesting.
I mean, he's not wrong.
No, not at all. 84th minute subs. Silva for Grealish, Diaz for Stones. Pep used the fifth sub halfway through 4 minutes of extra time, bringing on Nunes for Savinho. Nunes, in his short time on the pitch, almost dribbled into a trap. Final whistle is blown in a game in which Brentford has officially earned 100% of my respect. After beating us in the World Cup break, that's when I was like, all right, this Brentford team, they're not that bad, huh? From there, I've grown to enjoy the way they play and how Thomas Frank handles himself. Pep was asked what makes Brentford so good.
I have a huge list to tell you. A huge list. They are good in a high pressing. They are good in this long ball, second ball. They defend deep, so compact. Allow them to go outside and no spaces inside. The transitions with Wissa, Antony, and Bebo, so they are really, really good. This season, even when they make a high pressing, last season high pressing was long ball, Tony. This season, no. This season they play short passes, they break, move inside, outside, and after they so quick. Set pieces, every corner is a headache. Every throw-in in the final third is a headache. Every free kick, because they are, every department, all the things they do, they're a manager behind. A manager. Sometimes you see a team that said, it's more, whatever happened. What they do is always sense. It's one of the best. Thomas is one of the best.
See, Derek. So that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, Pep says a lot of really nice things about people, and usually that is him like cooling on people. But you should have saw like his eyes and the animation in the way that he talked about how Brentford plays, about Thomas. He talked about Frank for a good like 2 minutes after this clip ended. So like normally, yes, he does say
still not changing my opinion. I'm
No?
pretty sure he said Ruben Amorim could be the Manchester City manager at some point. You're not changing my opinion. I think I'm not disrespecting Thomas Frank or Brentford. I think they played extremely well, and I think in the moment Pep was like, "Hey, they did a lot of things great," and it is a different style of play than when they had Tony up top, who were just kicking a long ball. I think Pep tries to make sure he bigs up the managers who are willing to play, whether we stomp them or whether we, it's close. If you're willing to play, Pep respects that. When you just kind of low block and boot the ball, it's kind of like, that's trash, but whatever. If you're going to play, we may win, we may not, but, big ups to you for even trying. So I think no disrespect to Thomas Frank, don't get me wrong. I just don't think that, if we're being honest, Pep thinks he's as great as maybe he made it sound right there.
That's fair, though. No, that's fair. Great point. Great point. So, Brentford, if they want to be serious, I obviously don't know their financial situation, but keeping Thomas Frank and building on the squad should be key. They stand just as good of a chance as Newcastle, Brighton, or Aston Villa to finish in that 5th, 6th, 7th spot in the Premier League. European aspirations are right there. Thomas could go elsewhere and get his chance at a big name club, or he could truly become even more of a Brentford legend and create something undeniable at that club. I don't want to stay on here for too long because we still have 2 matches to go. We got shot calls and applause. And I asked where he could go. So I see that you guys at least understand his promise that he will at least get the chance. Because, we got like Graham Potter. He eventually got like Chelsea, and that was too big for him. And we haven't heard from man since. And that seems to be the style of managers this season. Someone gets trendy, someone gets hot, they get that big chance, they eat them alive, and then we don't hear from them again. I don't know. Maybe this is me being doped up on Brentford honey. I'm sugared up right now, buzzing, and I'm just very hopeful for Thomas Frank. What are y'all's thoughts? Quick thoughts on Thomas Frank. Do you think he should just stay at Brentford and try to see what the best he can do with them, or should he jump at the first chance to take a top 4 club, top 3 club, no matter the league? Sharpie?
I think he jumps in Premier League. That's where he should stay. That's where the most money is. The bag is going to be there. He deserves to have a full, support of a staff where he has a real transfer budget. He can go out and get talent and retain talent and be at a place where you're not losing players. Your goal is not to be a mid-table club or to sell players off. It's like, no, you just get the best players and then I develop them. And I have a plan. Like, think about him compared to Erik ten Hag and just imagine what Man United would be if they had a competent manager, right? Like, it's crazy because they have talent, but they also have a guy that doesn't know how to use it. And so you give somebody like that, give Frank those types of resources with that staff now, that could be like, oh, we're going to be really, competent people again.
That's fair. Good point.
I think I agree with Charlie. I think he goes if there's a really, interesting opening. Brentford, he's done well, but I think there's a bit of a glass ceiling that they can only go so far. And so I think for him, I don't know that you just jump at any opportunity, but if you can find one that you think you can actually excel in, then I think you go.
So I forgot that De Zerbi went to Marseille, so he's obviously not going to Marseille. But I think that he should go to Bayer Leverkusen after what's my man's name? Leaves.
Xabi Alonso.
Yes.
I was gonna say that, but I wasn't sure. Like, if I go back before Xabi Alonso, how did they do? Or is it just off of his personality, or if they've been decent? So I wasn't sure, but that's a good shout because I almost said that. And I think I screwed up. I think I was saying Amarim, and I should have been saying De Zerbi when Pep was giving him props. Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, so I think Leverkusen would be a good spot for him to land once Xabi leaves.
Yeah, and that was kind of my idea when y'all were saying there's only so much Brentford can achieve. It is almost like that Xabi at Leverkusen situation. He could stay there, but there's only so much that club is willing to do. He has to go elsewhere if he wants to be able to constantly get the players and resources that he believes he deserves. Cool. All right.
I think to also just to piggyback on that though, Bundesliga is a much smaller pool of teams that can actually win it. There's Bayern, and then after that, there's a big drop, maybe Dortmund, and then them. Really, there's not anybody else in there that's consistently competing for the league. Here, you got us for sure. Right now, you got Arsenal. Always have been Liverpool. So we got 3. That's before you ever get to Newcastle, a Chelsea, a United, or whatever, right? And those teams maybe aren't great, like you said. They haven't put it all together. They have talent, but they haven't put it together on the pitch. So I think you're competing just to be in top 4 in the PL, whereas you can be maybe top 2 in Bundesliga, 3 at most.
Yes. Okay, cool. The shakals and applause. You know, I don't really have anybody. I haven't really been tapped into what's going on. I've kind of been
lies. Because we all have to point and laugh up to Anfield. Ha 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 ha. Y'all lost to Nottingham Forest at home. Hold that L. Hold it tight. Clutch it.
Lost me so much money, so much potential money because they won the fold. Oh my god! My discontent watching that. And again, I didn't bet big. I had like high eyes. I was excited. I was like, okay, Liverpool's about to do this. Like, come on, they're cooking, like, whatever. It's Nottingham Forest. No, Nottingham Forest came in there and said, "Walk in your trap, take over your trap," and that's what they did. In their city, it was the blue. It was the color of their away shirts. It was that blue that gave them the spirit to go in. Because if you look too fast and you just saw the back of their jersey, like, wait, City playing? And it's like, oh no, wait, is he about to score? Oh, he's gonna score! Like that choke goal was so good. So shouts to Callum Hudson-Odoi, shouts to Alanga, shouts to like those boys cooked. Those Africans went crazy. Liverpool wanted to. I'm sure some Tories in there were not happy. They were like, "This is too much immigration. Get these boys out of here." Okay, my turn. Why y'all laugh? I don't know how John Duran keeps scoring.
Man,
he continues to be the best super sub in Premier League. He is the best super sub in Premier League history. Wow. He scored 4 goals already this season as a sub that have went on to win the match. It's ridiculous at this point. Let's take a lead or something. Like, he's amazing. He's a perfect compliment to Ollie Watkins, who got off the snot. Like Everton again finds they find their way to snatch snatch victory from defeat from the jaws of victory. They did it.
Yes,
they're so good at it. And 2 weeks in a row they capitulate. And now you have 2 clubs that were promoted that are above the relegation line. Ipswich and Leicester both have 2 points. Whereas you look at the bottom 3, of course, Southampton sucks, but Wolverhampton and Everton are also down there. And so it's going to be a real interesting season. What you got, Terry?
Everton are so trash.
It's hard to do what Everton have done. It is very hard to do what they have done. But I was kind of like Crunk. I don't really have a whole bunch to focus on. But I think the John Duran call out is spot on. But for me, I got to give big ups to my forever captain, the new Bayern Munich manager, Vincent Kompany, on their 3-0 start to the Bundesliga season. Now we'll see what he and his team can do in Champions League, but always got love for Vinny. So again, play great every match, except if you match up with us.
And when we take Musiala from you, no hard feelings, right?
Oh no, yeah, no,
Like,
yeah.
all love for you, company. Best of luck. Okay, so Inter on Wednesday. Pep, like I said, he was spicy before the Brentford presser. There was a clip when he was asked how he is handling basically 4 games in 10 days.
We are going to play on Tuesday because we cannot play on Wednesday. Then apparently should be because on Thursday play United Europa League, and for the police is not accepted. So, but it's going to happen many times. So, and when someone's going to create a new competition, will be even worse.
When someone creates a new competition, will be even worse. So I want to be excited. The first match of the Champions League, and it's against Inter, no less. Shout out to Christelle, who is an Inter and Man City fan. So I know she's very happy right now. All of these games are taking away a bit of the joy that should come with Champions League football. Breaking bread. Do you not agree with me, Sharpie?
I'm just like, all of the games, it's the same. Like, until we get to the end, right? Like, the beginning is the beginning, right?
2 extra games, 3 extra games in the group
2 extra
stage?
games, yeah, but that's later. Like, right now, it's just like, oh, Champions League started.
And if we somehow don't end up being a top team and we end up in that weird little space, there's like a play-in turn games that we potentially have to do.
No, man, everybody likes to complain, bro. We got 23 players on this roster, dog. I'm over the complaining. Let it go. If y'all don't want to play, stay home. Like, I'm over it.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Okay, so breaking bread for City's match against Inter. Tuesday morning in the US and then in the Tuesday afternoon in England, I will be talking to SempreInter.com's and the Italian football podcast's own Nima Tavale Rodsari. I'm basically just going to be, I assume he will also, just be sipping some coffee, talking some football. It'll be live on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. I'll have it uploaded to the podcast platforms as quickly as possible. Show bros, any questions that you want me to ask Nima about Inter?
My first question is this. Looking at their results today, was that draw against Monza a result of a rotation that, they're getting ready for City, or were they just, subpar? Because they started off in Serie A 2-2. 2 wins, 2 draws. So they're still second in the table, but you expect the defending champs to come out, with a little bit more forza, a little more strength, get my Italian right. You saw what I did that time. You saw it. So yeah, I just want to know, what is his expectation as they go into it? And again, there's no home and home anymore, no home and away, right? It's just one match and we're done. And I think that adds a different, a very much American feel to it. Like, this is a one-shot deal. You get your 3 points, your 1 point, or 0. That's it.
Anybody else got anything?
Yeah, not for me.
Okay.
I think my question would just be on form. Can Thuram keep on scoring goals in the way that he has been? Because 4-4 is pretty impressive. But yeah. What are we? Is he taking goals away from Lautaro Martinez? I guess at this point.
And we know how they love Lautaro. All right, cool. Perfect. All right. How do we see this match going? Is there any starting 11? Who are you expecting? What's happening in this match?
I've been thinking about this a lot. I think Pep comes out heavy. I think we see a field start. I think we see a Rodri start. I think we see the big boys come out for this. And I know we do have Arsenal on the weekend, but you want to start off this new phase, this table phase with 3 points. And I believe the match is at City, so we try to use our home crowd.
Yeah.
So I see everybody that was on the bench basically is going to start, right? Ruben plays. I got obviously Vardy starting. I got Rodri, Kevin, Bernardo, Phil.
Rico or Walker?
I think it goes veteran. I think it goes Walker.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Yes.
You know, for the first one. And of course, Haaland up top. I do hope Doku starts for Grealish. I think that explosion on the left will be very important. And I could see this being the match where if you play double eights of Bernardo and Kevin, that it pushes. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Bernardo and Phil. I think we're going to have a winger, and I know Tom hates it. It's going to be Phil or Bernardo. I don't see Savinho starting this match just because of the cramp or whatever. Like, I think he goes with the vets. So, and I got us winning 2-1.
See, I think because it's at home, I think you can take a little bit more risks. And that's why I think you do start Rico and have that box midfield in. Yasko starts, Ruben starts, I think Akanji starts, Rodri, Bernardo. I don't just kind of reading some comments. I'm not sure that Phil is ready yet, or if Pep is ready to put Phil in. So I got Kev in over him. I think Gundo will probably get a start as well. I am hoping, my hope is that Savinho is okay, and that you can just go ahead and put him and Grealish in to start. Although I would not hate, him and Doku in to start. Although I would not hate Doku and Grealish starting and Doku just going on the right. But Haaland's going to start up top.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, also, who you got, Tom? What's your prediction? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was just going to say, there's just like the Champions League final, there will be one goal in this match. City will score it, and it'll be 1-0.
I don't like
that. I've written down 2-1 City, but the more I think about it, you might be right, Tom. It is always a stingy affair, and so but Haaland's in a different vein of form right now, so I'll stick with my 2-1. As far as the lineups, I think you guys pretty much got it. The question is Foden ready to play? Can we keep running KDB out there week in, week out, game in, game out at some point, especially now that they starting to pick up? He's going to have to get a rest. But yeah, I think what you guys have said is pretty much covers it all as far as the lineup is concerned. But yeah, I got a 2-1 City.
It's also pretty cool here that I think this is the only time we have 3 home matches in a row, at least as far as I can see, between 3 different competitions, which is kind of cool, like Champions League, Premier League with Arsenal, and then against Watford in the League Cup. So I hope that being at home for so long is something that we can use to our favor,
I need a 2-goal lead just for my sanity. I'm gonna disassociate myself from this match. If it ends up being a 1-goal win, I will probably just black out for a good 10-15 minutes at a time, and we'll have to rely on watching the replay to be like, haha, I just lived on Twitter for 15 minutes to keep myself calm. So I'm just gonna say 3-1 win for my own sanity. We still got 3 more days. I'm really hoping the conversation with Nima can go well, and he just says a lot of nice things about City and goes, y'all are gonna win great, bigly, because I don't like this. I know we end the group stage with some respectively nothing burger matches that City should handle things pretty easily, but still the first match. Anything can go from there. All right, cool. Manchester, let's move over to the Premier League on the weekend against Arsenal. Manchester welcomed the Gunners to the Etihad and a battle of the top two, both sides unbeaten, except Man City have the distinction of being undefeated. Arsenal, injury problems. Saka limped off. Calafiori, Zinchenko, Odegaard, Tomiyasu, Tierney, Moreno was out before he could even play his first minutes. The only good thing is they get Declan Rice. Pep Guardiola will have a difficult time picking a starting 11 for Arsenal, but it's nothing compared to what Arsenal has to get going. Who do you think Pep starts? How does the match go? What's your score prediction?
The reason that Phil has not been ready to play is because he's been training as the false nine. Haaland, this is the match that Haaland doesn't start, and we get a Phil false nine, and again, there's only going to be one goal in this match, and because it's at the Etihad, City will score it, and we will win 1-0.
Tom, I don't like this.
Tom, I'm going to tell you what.
I don't
if
like that.
Before this match, the lineup comes out and it does not list big number 9 up at the top,
I'm cursing you the fuck out.
We riot. We riot. Look. Everybody at the Etihad should just get up from their seat, turn, walk out. Like, no, we will not do this today. We will not do this today. You want to rest that man? Rest him against Watford. Don't play him against Watford. I don't even need him to. He don't even have to suit up for Watford. Don't even put your uniform on. But this Arsenal match, if that man don't have his uniform on and ready to play and start, oh my God. That's going, wee. Anyway, I don't know about the lineup, but I know he's going to be in it. At least he better be. For me, I think as much as I want to call it City win, I'm going to go 1-1 draw.
Yeah. Interesting. A draw from Terry.
I never do it. I've never said we're going to lose. I
very mindful,
never going to
very
say
cautious,
that.
very understated, very understood. It's cool, man. It's all good. I'm with you though. Like, Haaland's rest is he's going to get a week off after Arsenal because he won't play against Watford, and then he'll come back for Newcastle. And this is what he wants. Like, these are the moments these players want. As much as they complain, which again I don't understand because the calendar is a calendar. You know what you sign up for with City. If you go in between Inter and Arsenal, nobody's telling Pep, "Hey Pep, let me get that day off on the weekend. Let me take Sunday off, my boy." No, you're like, "Hey, I want to play every fucking minute, Pep. Please put me out there. I am ready to go with these boys. I'm ready to remind them of why they came in soft last year and got that draw, got that point, and then end up costing them, right? They can't come back the same way. So if they want to come play for real, we know what happened when they played 2 years ago and they got that ass whooped. So I think we whooped that ass to belt, as one would say. I got us beating them 3-1. I don't think because nobody like goes at them. And I don't think they have the offensive firepower we do at all. And they have to travel to Atalanta. So they got to go all the way to Italy on Wednesday or Tuesday night or whatever. Then fly all the way back to London. Then go to Manchester on the weekend. And we know Arteta don't rotate at all. So you might see the same 11 that played today, aside from Declan Rice. So, yeah, I got us winning 3-1, man. We're going to do this. Set the marker down early. That we up, 5 points, and the game's a game.
Delta has farm to table. Either way, it's the same thing. We're bringing the experience to you, baby. Love it.
Real quick before we get out of here, I just want to preview Baby Blue Baddies. They also start their season.
That was in. I did. I updated the outline.
Oh. So yes, City Men are not the only team in Baby Blue. Sky Blue starting their Champions League journey as well this week. City will go to Paris FC to start their first leg of this tie with Paris FC. They will then play them in the reverse fixture next Wednesday, and then they will start the WSL season versus Arsenal. Actually, I'm just going to take this opportunity to plug our show that we had with the In the Channel crew, who was yes, it was awesome talking to them, chopping it up. Check that out if you have not already. We are definitely this is the week that Garrett's going to earn his money, like, because he's going to have to rotate some of his squad while still getting 3 wins, like, because you can't not have 3 wins out of this. Even if Arsenal is on the road at the Emirates, you have to start the season with a win, and there's no other way around that. So as far as Paris FC goes, I know that I said on our collab show with them, Nduzie might be the best keeper in all of France. She might very well be the best keeper in all of Europe as well. So that does scare me as a City fan. I think that we didn't look very good at scoring goals and to start the preseason. I will be interested to see if we do get to see Bunny and Viv play together. I think that that could be real scary hours for some back lines across Europe. But I do have I have 1-0 against Paris FC in Paris, and then I have a 2-2 draw at the Emirates against Arsenal. I don't love it, but I think that both managers would probably like both of them having to go away onto the continent for Champions League. They'll come back to the UK and just be okay with a draw, even if it is the first match of the season.
I love that Tom goes Paris FC. You know, it's just that certain amount of class that it's so magnifique. Classique. I love it. I love it. It makes me want some escargot or something. I see us drawing in Paris. I see us winning on the continent. Well, back in England when we come back. That's how I got it. I got a 1-1 draw in Paris. I got a 2-1 win against Arsenal. I think that those Twin Towers, man, it's about to get scary for some people. If he really goes 3-5-2, Lord, I don't think he's gonna do it. But if he ever pulls it out, what the fuck do you do with Viv and Bunny? I don't know. God bless him. Yeah, and we got Spark for the whole year now. We got Kelly coming back. We got him doing what she does. Is Jill Ward back? I'm sorry, I haven't been typed in the preseason. Is she back yet or no? Not yet.
She's not back she's training on her own, but she's not.
That's right. So not in play. Okay, that's gonna be like a transfer coming in later. Bet. So like, I don't know, man. This is the season. I was down last year. I said I didn't think we would win at the beginning. I got my hopes up, and life happens. But this is the year my hopes are in it.
Let's go.
I believe we will do it, and both clubs will win their England First Division trophies. It's going to be a beautiful year.
The dual team parade, like a men's.
I want it. Give me all the double-decker buses. I want rain. I want Grealish with nothing. I want hemp in a sports bra. I want it all.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my God. I need that.
I would love it.
So shout out for Breaking Bread. Wednesday night, I will be with BMP of our Arsenal 86 podcast. They will be joining us for Breaking Bread for the BMP will be joining us for Man City versus Arsenal Breaking Bread. And then Friday afternoon, 2 members of the 12, our WSL podcast, Treb and Deep T, will be joining us to talk and cover Man City women versus Arsenal women. So showing some love to the SOB network. This is truly my dream. This is half the reason why I started these other pods. So we would just have other people that we can bring into, and we can just have a nice little like footy family where we just talk about football all the time.
Love it.
The fucking dream. Oh man. So yeah, that's everything. Yeah, all right, let's get the hell out of here. My show pros. Y'all did such a great job. Please let listeners, viewers know where they can find you and what you're doing. Sharp, Tom Bomb, let's just start with you. Big J.
You can find me at CPKC Stadium for the good folks over to Shea Butter FC podcast. You can also find me on the 12. Look at our feed. I know Crunky will be getting that out for us of late, so you can learn all about the WSL. And if there's a social media platform that I'm on and I engage in it, my name is always the same, TomBomb816.
I don't have nearly as much going on. I'm just at Sharpie Charlie. Find me on Twitter. That's
He's
it.
doing great things. Please follow him. Good follow. Great follow.
At Tarek Peterson on Twitter, on Threads. Yep. At Tarek Peterson. TarikPeterson. Go ahead, Charlie.
If you made it this far, I'm sure you're a great citizen of whatever country you live. If you happen to be an American, make sure you and your loved ones are registered to vote. We are approaching 7 weeks as of Tuesday until this very, very important election. Whatever your inclinations are, just go use your voice. It's a right that people died for in this country. Go vote. Early voting begins in some states as early as September 20th. I know in Virginia. So just register, check your status. We know people try to purge things. And go use your voice. We can't complain if you don't vote. As Obama said, don't boo, vote.
Follow the network at Shades of Blue Network. They are on social media, which is TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Threads, and YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, all of those. We are out there. Rate, review, thumbs up, show some love. See you soon. You know the vibes. Shady gang, shady gang, shady gang. Go